Thank you, my YouTubers. Thank you so much. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Please remember to like the channel. Please remember to support the channel. Um, the telephone number is across your screen, and of course, other ways that you can support the Hello Neighbor show. We'll be live over here on Monday, and we hope to take you with us. We want to use this weekend, to see if we can take our subscription up to 1,000. We are about 780 or something like that, which is fantastic. But we want to take that up to 1,000 by Monday. All right. So before I came on air, I saw a memorandum that JR is having problems paying their staff. So what is happening? What is happening down there at Linners Road? We are writing to inform you that due to unexpected processing delays, this month's payroll has been impacted and will not be completed on the usual schedule. Can you imagine? Today is the 24th of the month, and our JR workers are going home without pay. What can go so? Yeah, JR, you can't send home your employees without pay. That no sound good. I mean, you couldn't give them half of it, or boy, I tell you something. This is interesting, you know. This is very, very interesting. What is happening down at JR? Anyway, we hope that they will resolve their issues so that the staff will be able to be paid. And I also hope that the staff will not protest. The RJR is saying that you'll get your pay by Wednesday. So you have to do without your pay for the weekend here. And you'll have to do without your pay Monday and Tuesday. Our payroll, finance, and IT teams have been working diligently to resolve the issue. And we appreciate your patience throughout this process. We understand the importance of timely payments and sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused. You wanted to go and buy 2 pieces of chicken this evening here, and you work with RJR. Boy, rough. I wonder if this is the real story. I wonder if this matter of processing delay is a smokescreen. Is that the real story at RJR? Why the workers can't be paid? I'm sure that we'll find that out soon, because information is leaking out. As a matter of fact, someone pushed something under my door saying that this has been happening for quite some time. Is it true? Is it true that ever so often, all of a sudden, RJR having technical problems? That's what I heard. I heard that it is always technical problems there. Is RJR having a cash flow problem? Are they in financial difficulties? Hookups. You know, I see the Gleaner, Edmond Campbell, talking about the Nara bill was shredded. You know. Anyway, let's leave RGR alone for the moment. And let me put something to you. Opposition or obstruction. Shafreen, note that. Opposition or obstruction. So I have 2 pieces of notes for you tonight. Remember, we close at 10 o'clock. The last election was in September. Count with me. October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months. It's been 6 months since the last election. And it feels as if we're still in a campaign. Does it feel like that to you, listeners? That you are in a campaign? It's been 6 months since the election loss. And it appears as if the People's National Party, they have not yet transitioned from campaigning to opposition. It's a psychological refusal to accept the electoral defeat. And so instead of adopting a, conciliatory posture, the opposition led by Mr. Golding, they have been combative. Prioritizing partisan point scoring over policy alternatives. I linked this to Nara for you, don't worry. And the failure, you see, is very acute, because the National Disaster Recovery Project, where Jamaicans require a constructive opposition as a kind of co-author of the national project. By the way, I hope you understand that we are witnessing history. Our children and ourselves are witnessing history. History is being written in Jamaica. This is our moment. This is our moment, Jamaicans. Jamaicans, you have suffered long and hard. You have waited. And crises really opens opportunities, Have you ever had a broken heart? Have you ever suffered a loss? Your girlfriend left you? Well, sometimes that can be a blessing, It can be a blessing. Because you never know that you could bounce back. Look at you now. Look at you now. Crises really come with opportunities. And we have an opportunity here. Melissa is giving us a fantastic opportunity to rebuild. But as far as the opposition is concerned, it's been 6 months of performative resistance. I've never seen it like this in Jamaica. I've never seen this type of performative resistance, particularly on NAR. I didn't get the time today to research the opposition's posture after Ivan, and I want to do that. If my team could help me with that research, I'd be happy for it. How did the Jamaica Labour Party respond during Ivan when PJ Patterson was Prime Minister? We need to do that research and make the comparison, because I've never seen this type of performative resistance, and what it has done is weakened the claim of the opposition to be an alternative government, and it has left the country without bipartisan execution, which is so very much needed in this post-Melissa rebuilding. And so many people are asking tonight, is it opposition or obstruction? Is it obstruction, or do we have an opposition? The comrades are already drawing near, and I appreciate that. 6 months of campaigning, not governing. And I'm going to give you the main failures of the People's National Party in opposition. I'm going to give you them tonight. I hope I'll have time to get to Nara. I'm not staying here beyond 10 o'clock because it's a Friday night and I am booked to be at a hot party at 20 minutes after 10. Okay? Yeah. Friday Frolic. I'll be at Friday Frolic at 10:30 in Portmore. Wow. You know, I wonder if Jamaica debates. Is Jamaica debates? Is Charmaine, you coming with me to the Friday Frolic? We're gonna frolic at Friday on the beach over Hillshop, night beach, frolic in your Friday. Corny Barrett. Okay, wow. I'm gonna give you the put a smile on your face, man, and take off the stress. The first failure is the failure to accept electoral reality. And having accepted the electoral reality, it gives you a reset of your strategic doctrine. Now, they have what is called in psychology denial. Now, like say, and denial is a coping mechanism. So if you suffer loss, the immediate response is you deny it, because that moment of denial gives you time to recalibrate and to accept the reality. So if someone calls you and said to you, you know, your house burned down, you may faint, you panic. And so what the body does, it helps you to accept the reality without falling out. But you can't live in denial. You can't live in denial. And those of you who are suffer loss, if your man left you, your man left you. If your woman gone, she just gone. After a time, you have to pick yourself up and say, this is my reality. I have to deal with it. Never wanted it to happen, but it is what it is. And I suspect that one of the problems with Mr. Golden is that Mr. Golden is still in denial. Psychological denial that they lost the 2025, general election. And that is the first failure of the opposition. You remember I told you the other night that that George Bush left a note in the Oval Office for Bill Clinton. I'm rooting for you. It was a brutal campaign, but you won. You notice that Mr. Golding did not stand at the inauguration ceremony of the Prime Minister. Didn't stand up tall. In other words, I should have been up there. That is the first failure. And I call upon Mr. Golding and the opposition tonight to call a press conference and concede again the election. Just tell Jamaica, we lost the election. Tell it to your supporters. You know that Perry, just this week, a piece of video was circulating where they were calling Mr. Golding the Prime Minister. And Mr. Golding appeared on Perry Cummings' program, The Perspective. And Perry was referring to him as the Prime Minister. And Mr. Golding did not correct Mr. Perry and said, well, Mr. Perry, we hope to have won the election, but we didn't win. The Andrew Holness won the election and the Jamaica Labour Party, and we congratulate them. We hope we'll have better luck next time. I haven't seen that at all. That is a failure of leadership. That is a failure of democratic leadership. In a democracy where one party have to win and one have to lose, because that's why we have 63 seats. Can't tie. All right? First failure is to accept electoral reality so that you can reset your strategic doctrine. You notice that Mr. Golding came to the parliament with the manifesto. Tells you something, as if they are governing. The same manifesto that they had for the September election is the manifesto that Mr. Golding pick up and carry come at the parliament theme budget presentation. Notwithstanding that the country suffered a 53% loss of its GDP with 5 parishes, 150,000 homes either destroyed completely or partially. What is your manifesto? How useful is that at this time? The foundational failure of the opposition is that it has not internalized the loss, and probably their friends up at the university need to bring them in for some counseling. Sit them down, cry if you must, bawl if you must, but you have to accept that you lost. If you don't accept that you lost, you can't move forward to become an effective opposition. So right now, we don't have an opposition. We don't. What we have is a party campaigning for an election. And there is a great imbalance in the democracy because of this. I want you to understand that, because it is psychological. We don't right now have an opposition. They are operating like when Parliament was dissolved and there is no government. They're in campaign mode. If the country is going to settle down over the next 4 years, the opposition must come out and admit loss. You can't go to Parliament and talk about the 401,000 people that voted for you and you're solid like a rock, beating up your chest about your electoral position in the Parliament. Wrong. That's why we're seeing in Parliament. The Parliament is reading like a continuation of the campaign. not a recalibration to the role of opposition, but they're still on the campaign trail. And what the opposition ought to do is to audit why they were rejected. Because to move forward, to advance in life, you have to assess why you are where you are. What make your man left you? What make your woman left you? If you don't sit down and answer those questions, then the next one come will leave you too. Because it means that you're not change. And after 3 electoral loss, we need an audit of the party. We need an audit of the PNP as to why they were rejected. Why were they rejected? Can any comrade come up and answer that question? You can't move forward unless you assess your present situation. Every government initiative is met as a threat to be discredited. They're against the speaker. They're against the prime minister. They're against NARA. They're against the buses. They're against JPS license being. Imagine the opposition with the audacity to say that Jamaica must renew JPS's license. Huh? We shouldn't even have sold JPS in the first place, I don't want you to think that that was a good decision for Jamaica to have made. I don't know what is in that contract. If the private owners of the contract can just lock down JPS and left the whole country in a darkness, what the government are going to do? It's the only supplier we have of electricity, and we sell it. It's like you have one TV in your house and you sell it to your neighbor. But you have the TV in your house and watch still. And what if your neighbor say, "Why am I ready for my TV?" You know nothing to watch. We probably need to think about buying back the JPS and giving it to competent people to run. But we can't have one power company in the country and we sell it. But so broke we were at the time. You ever broke yet? You ever broke yet? That you start look around your house what you can sell? You sell your iron, you sell your stove, you sell every striking thing in your house when you're broke. That's why I saw Jamaica Wednesday one time. Broke so till you have to start sell all your there was a time in Jamaica, you see, when they were going around buying gold. They were going around in Jamaica buying gold. And people used to sell them wedding ring. A man tell me, say, him wife get up one morning and look for him wedding ring. Cash for gold. Him wife get up and look for her wedding ring and can't find it. Where ring there? Man say, tell it. Imagine you're so broke that your wife take off the wedding ring, put on, and you have to sell it. By cash for gold. No problem, sir. You can buy her back one now when you make money again. But that's where we were. Broke like a church mouse. By the way, why church mouse broke? Church mouse not supposed to broke, man. It's supposed to have some money. Serious business. The posture forfeits the core role of an opposition in the Westminster system. To be a government in waiting, that role is forfeited. By refusing to accept the election, then the opposition is not going to support the government, because the question of who governs was settled on September 3rd. Argument done. That argument was settled. It is an affront to the people of Jamaica for any opposition party, any opposition leader in a democracy not to concede and to support the government, because the government does not exist on its own. It exists as the will of the Jamaican people. And this country is civic illiterate. And our civic illiteracy is causing us not to demand better from the opposition. The question of the legitimacy of the government was settled at the ballot box. You can say what you want to say what you want to say about the malignant influence of money. That argument was settled. And it having been settled, the Gleaner, RGR, Power 106, the opposition, JFJ, and all the civic groups must respect that. You'll have another chance in 2030 when the people again will decide who governs for the next 5 years. That's how it is set in the Constitution. And so any person who refuses to accept that is spitting in the people of Jamaica's face, because you are saying to the people of Jamaica, you made the wrong choice. And Jamaican people are not fool. They may be drunk, but they're not fool. Well, some of them drunk. The People's National Party is treating Parliament as an extension of the hustings. Parliament is being treated with disdain, and it must stop. It must stop. Parliament is not the political hosting ground. I could understand this if we were in the final year leading up to an election. But the budget speech of the opposition leader was a political speech. The budget speech of the spokesman on industry, political. Mr. Bunting in the parliament Tuesday, political. Crawford, he's in there campaigning. All of them, they're either campaigning for the leadership of the People's National Party or for another general election. It's wrong. 6 months later, Jamaicans cannot identify what the PNP would do differently, only what it is against. And if that is not failure, then what is? After 6 months, for example, do we know tonight what are the plans? What are the alternative prescriptions? If the PNP were in government, would they have a NARA? How would they do it? 6 months. Jamaicans cannot identify what the PNP would do differently. What a shame. Only what they are against. We know what they're against. They're against NARA. They're against building hospitals. They're against expanding roads. They're against public sector transformation. They're against giving $150 million to JPS to put back light in poor people's house. They're against the Prime Minister's salary. They're against the Speaker. They're against everything. But we don't know what they are for. They're against even their leader. They are so against that even their leader is now, they are so against everything in Jamaica that they're against Andre Horton. Kick him out of the party. The gentleman that ran in Clarendon against Nesta Morgan, they're against him too. They're against everything in Jamaica. 6 months. We know what they're against. We don't know what they are for. I'm giving you 5 things. 15 minutes after 8 o'clock. why the opposition is proven to be an obstruction and not an opposition. Number one, failure to accept electoral reality. Secondly, a failure to offer a credible alternative on national reconstruction. The NARA debate exposed this failure most clearly. Post Melissa, the country needed speed plus scrutiny. An opposition that would pressure for delivery while shaping safeguards. Instead, the PNP's intervention was procedural and dilatory. It highlighted CEO appointment powers and disclosure penalties, but never tabled a competing, fully financed recovery mode. This opposition, People's National Party, is so lazy. And I tell you this, and I blame the government for it. Blame the government. The opposition MPs need a salary cut. They need a salary cut. The opposition leader's salary need to cut. And the opposition leader need a salary cut. And the opposition members, their salaries must be 20% less than what the government ministers are, members are getting. Because then they don't have no, them need to step up. They are comfortable. Nigel Clark, through the public sector wage, gave these guys hefty money, you know. All of these MPs you see in parliament, they might get good money, you know. And you want to tell me, Mr. Crawford, you say you're bright. You can sit down and put before Jamaica how you would do it. What is your plan? You know, I don't know if the government MPs are strong either, you know, because sometimes when I listen to them in parliament, they need to dismiss these opposition people. You think I could be in a debate there and don't raise these matters? Where are your plans? $6.7 billion found by the government. You could find it. The opposition is warning about centralization, but they are proposing no decentralized alternative. How do you propose to spend 6.7 billion United States dollars? Mark Golding, how you plan to spend it? You divide it up among your MPs? That's what you're going to do? Give them each $500 million? Is that what would happen? Because you cannot criticize centralized structure, but you are not proposing a decentralized alternative. Because the $6.7 billion have to spend. How you would spend it? And would you have been able to attract it? Would the PNP have been able to attract this amount of financing? I don't think so. Would they have garnered the trust of the multilaterals? I don't think so. They were promising organic growth in their manifesto. Mr. Robinson said that they were going to organically grow the economy. Mr. Robinson, what is organic growth? You You see the absurdity of their proposal. You can't be talking about economic growth and you're going to be talking about organic growth. See Melissa come and you think the economy would have grown? How you'd have paid the $3.5 million tax, income tax threshold that you were proposing? It's a good thing the people of Jamaica rejected those absurdities. Not realistic at all. In the language of disaster politics, the opposition chose audit over architecture. At a moment when citizens were assessing which party could rebuild their homes and communities, the PNP offered critique of processes while government offered a pipeline of projects. You remember in the 1990s, Mr. Bobby Pickersgill always was talking about the pipelines. It was a pipeline government. And the pipeline clog up, nothing come out of it. PNP is a party that when election come lay a pipe. And after the election then take up at the pipe. The PNP when the election come lay a pipe. And after the election then take up at the pipe them.
Oh gosh.
The pipeline government.
Oh gosh.
You know, seriously, it's not a joke, you know. It's not a joke. When the election is drawing near, then dig out the trench them and carry pipe, go put on in the communities them. Let me tell you something. Someone who should have gone to jail. Someone who should be arrested. But as I said, you see, we need a country of civic, literate people. People who think and stop make politicians trick on. Then carry pipe, go put on in a people constituency, and after the election, then come back and pick up the pipe them. And the people them left without water. Yeah? Ginal ship.
Oh gosh.
Them a Ginal, you know, some five. One set of some five man them.
Oh gosh.
Anyway. I have to move on. Time is on me. Yes. The result, the opposition looked like it was defending bureaucracy against recovery. That's the second point. The third point is a failure to distinguish between opposition and obstruction. Opposition and obstruction. The last 6 months reveal a confusion of roles. We don't have any opposition in Jamaica. We need an opposition. This opposition is not an opposition. Let me tell you something. It's a heartbreak for me. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's a heartbreak. I beg on Jamaica. No bother consider them a people who are ready for any electoral. No, sir. They're not ready yet. They don't have a structure that is ready. Now think about them. They're not ready yet. Yes, and there are things that I could say, but I'm going to say it, because them are people who are not ready, man. They are obstructionists. And I want to link the NARA tweet later, 25 after 8 o'clock. The last 6 months reveal a confusion of roles. And it tells you something about the party. It tells you how they see the Jamaican people. They don't respect Jamaicans. And maybe it's a risk, because many Jamaicans remain largely undereducated, but the advancement in technology have helped. people are now listening, paying closer attention. But the PNP is demonstrating a lack of, they don't see the Jamaican people as anything. I think it is a problem that we need to look at. A credible opposition forces better governance. Obstruction seeks to prevent governance. What do you need? Better government or preventing governance? What is going to whip these guys into shape, man? The PNP's approach to NARA, to budget allocations, and to emergency procurement measures has blurred that line. By aligning with civil society, the civil society language that paints urgency as authoritarianism. A man came on this program last night and was very upset, speaking about absolute power. There is no authoritarianism in Jamaica. Where? Look at the media. The party ceded the moral high ground of national interests. When reconstruction timelines are measured in months before the next storm season, delay becomes a substantive harm. Comrades, move out of the way of progress. Comrades, move out of the way. I beg you, just move out of the way. Stop obstructing the people of Jamaica. The rhetorical energy went into expanding veto points. More committees. I understand that it was said today that if the NARA bill goes to committee, 2 years before it leaves the committee. 2 years. Send it to a committee. For what? More consultations. More parliamentary stages without demonstrating how those additions would accelerate a single house being built. Yet they are talking about, I hear Floyd Morris asking for the 5,000 container houses. Where them there? Where them there? The very opposition that is obstructing the process is asking for speed. That no hypocrisy, man. How can you be the obstructor? And yet, when you go on the ground, you give the people the impression that somehow it's the government you're waiting on. When you go to parliament and you obstruct, the public, I think, is seeing the combativeness, the press conferences, the press nonsense. And I believe the press is seen through that. That's the third point. A failure to distinguish between opposition and obstruction. 8:30. My fourth point is that there's a failure to rebuild public trust in its competence. Failure to rebuild public trust in its competence. Let me remind you of the first three. 1, a failure to accept electoral reality and real strategic, so that they could reset their strategic doctrine. 2, A failure to offer a credible alternative on national reconstruction. 3, a failure to distinguish between opposition and obstruction. And fourthly, a failure to rebuild public trust in its competence. One of the reasons why the opposition lost the last election was that the people did not see them as competent. And let me ask you listening to me now, do you think the opposition is competent? Do you see any managers over there? Anyone with technocratic competence? Anyone who could lead Jamaica through this reconstruction? Do you see it over there? Answer the question honestly and fairly. You think Mr. Crawford could lead Jamaica at this time? What about Mr. Isaac Buchanan? Better yet, would you make Miss Nikisha Burchell Prime Minister? Imagine. Imagine Miss Burchell being Prime Minister of Jamaica. Wow.
Oh gosh.
You know, imagine Miss Burchell at Jamaica House.
Oh gosh.
Now, seriously, after 3 defeats, the PNP's central task was to prove it could govern again. That requires demonstration projects in opposition, shadow budgets, technical critiques. Do you listen to Kemi Badenoch in the UK? You listen to her? Yeah, that's a real opposition leader. Technical critiques. After the opposition leader made his presentation in the parliament on Tuesday, in step out. I look as if Mr. Golding going through the door. He didn't even acknowledge the speaker when he was leaving. You know that when you leave in the parliament, you're supposed to, acknowledge the speaker with a little bow. Mr. Golding just step out. No, sir. Why, I tell you. Yeah. Technical critique. Bipartisan bills. Policy. Papers that show mastery. Which shadow opposition spokesperson is showing mastery of the subject that you would place in the ministry? Would you send Dr. Dawes up to hell? What about Julian Robinson? You think you would match him up against Montefiore about the Ministry of Health? What about Angela Brown-Burke? Angela Brown-Burke as our Minister of National of Foreign Affairs.
Oh gosh.
Mrs. Brown-Burke in the press conference said that that the minister was in Finland. The minister was at his office. Mrs.
Oh gosh.
Imagine Miss Nikisha Burchell as spokesman on as Minister of Information. Huh? Competence. Comrade. Competence. No opposition spokesperson has become the public's trusted explainer of resilient economics. Which opposition spokesperson is attracting public confidence? Which one? Name it to me. Which of them is Jamaica could say the one day? Which one of them? What a woeful set. Huh? I see the man from St. Mary there sitting in a parliament. Boy, I tell you. This is so heartbreaking. I don't even know if I can complete this. It's so sad. Jamaica don't have a viable opposition. How did we get here? Go make me cry. How did we get here? How did we really get here? It's really a threat to the democracy, you know. As I sat down on Tuesday and I listened to them, I said, wow, no one. I wonder if Lisa Hanna could come back. Don't even know how some of these guys got into parliament, but boy, wow. The party strengthened its seat count, but that has not translated into strengthened policy leadership. Strength of seats is not strength of policy. Ralph Gonsalves is the only member of his party in the parliament in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's a one-man opposition. And Ralph Gonsalves is doing a very good job against the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's not about numbers. Not about numbers. Their strengthened seat count has not strengthened their policy posture. Instead, the public sees a party that is still arguing the last election, not preparing for the next crisis. In post-disaster Jamaica, competence is judged by one metric: who can get things built. The PNP has not made that case. If I'm telling a lie tonight, tell me, say I'm telling a lie. I'm being very practical. I want to be, well, I always am. They have not made the case for competence. Competence. They have not made that case. Number 5, a failure to meet the moment. A failure to meet the moment. National project versus the partisan project. That is one of the fundamental disappointments. Melissa created a rare moment for national project policies. Remember that the Labour Party's slogan was Choose Jamaica. Choose Jamaica. The PNP's was Time Come. And I will say to the party tonight, time come for the national project, not the partisan project. Mr. Golding, time comes, sir, for Project Jamaica. And if you don't join us on this national project, Mr. Golding, your legacy as opposition leader will be a dark, dim one. Turn it around. Turn it around, sir. Time come for the national project. Jamaica, land of beauty, we promise faithfully to serve thee with our talent and bring our gifts to thee. Jamaica, we will always. If Jamaica succeeds, brethren, every comrade that you love so much will succeed. You won't have to stand up in your constituency and point to raw sewage running down the streets. Miss Burchell, your roads will be fixed, ma'am. You won't have to hip across with barefoot in your performative style to be high. Miss Julika Jess, the roads that you have down there in St. Elizabeth, they're going to be fixed, ma'am. Go and support the NARA bill. I want to stop play politics. Meet the moment. It's like a man marry a woman, and on the night of the honeymoon, he can't turn up. What a disappointment. What a disappointment. What a disappointment that would be.
Oh gosh.
You have to meet the moment. You ever, after pursuing after pursuing for 2 years, you finally get a chance and you fail. You have to meet the moment, brother. I have to take a break. I need a drink of water. I'm going to be 20 to 9. I have to take a break. This show get too hot. It's our last night over here at TikTok. Oh my God.
Asking everyone to please repost the live, please. Please press that white arrow, then that yellow circle, and repost the live, please.
Thank you, moderator. Meet the moment. Melissa created a rare opportunity for national project politics, where the scale of destruction temporarily subordinates partisan differences to collective rebuilding. Functional democracies use these windows to show that opposition and government can disagree without derailing delivery. The PNP missed that window by treating NARA as a zero-sum electoral threat rather than a national instrument to be improved. The party signaled that its partisan project outranks the national project. Am I speaking the truth? Then let me hear you say amen. When you listen to them, do you get a sense that they are interested in Jamaica or they are interested in their partisan selves? They have missed the moment. That choice has a cost. That choice has a cost. It tells swing voters that the PNP's instincts, even after a disaster, is to campaign, not to construct. Campaign, not to construct. We don't need any campaigning right now. We need constructing. Put away the party song. Put away the paraphernalias. Let's rebuild this country. Let's construct this country. To every Jamaican tonight, every Jamaican whose roof is not yet back on, whose bed, bite back yet. Hear what me tell you tonight. Politics is holding back your progress. Remember that when you go to the next election. The government is not. Lie them a tell. Lie them lie. A lie them lie. The government has done a remarkable job. But also government work, you hear? Government needs sometime opposition to get involved, to push things forward. And your opposition is holding you back. That road that you're complaining about, Miss Jess, is your party, hold it up. Six months of no without a corresponding here's how. All we're hearing is no. Does not read as vigilance, it reads as absence. And for 6 months, the opposition is yet to show up in Parliament. That's not opposition that show up in Parliament, That's the People's National Party. And there's the difference. I want you to understand that significant difference. The people that are turning up in the parliament on Tuesdays, it's not the opposition. We don't have an opposition in Jamaica. It's the People's National Party. Turn up there. 89 Old Hope Road. That's part of the problem we're having in Jamaica today. We don't have no opposition. What we have is a political party still in campaign mode. Something tells me that no matter how long and hard you campaign, if you don't get your act together, the results are going to remain the same. A word to the wise is sufficient. What is the bottom line? The bottom line is that the PNP's last 6 months prove the thesis. The party entered parliament with more seats, but not with more answers. They entered parliament with more seats, not with more answers. Its combative approach to NARA has not strengthened the democracy. It has weakened the opposition's claim to be an alternative government. Jamaica needed a partner in rebuilding. They got a party still fighting the last campaign. Until the opposition accept the loss, defines a governing philosophy, and choose construction over confrontation, it will remain in opposition, not just by seat count, but by the public's consent. Until the opposition accepts the loss, accept that you lost, define a governing philosophy, and choose construction over confrontation, you will remain in opposition, not just by seat count, but by the public consent. Someone asked me to repeat the 5 failures. You have to send me a money gun to do that. So let me go for it. And is it on? I'm joking on fire. Number 1, failure to accept electoral reality. Number 2, failure to offer credible alternative on national reconstruction. Number 3, failure to distinguish between opposition and obstruction. Number 4, failure to rebuild public trust in its competence. And number 5, failure to meet the moment. National project versus partisan project. Until you get this right, you will never advance in the public politics of Jamaica.